Malaysia is no stranger to coalition politics, but many things about our political landscape have changed, and our political parties and the politicians who lead them are struggling to adapt. The 15th General Election, or GE15, held in November last year was a game changer. For the first time in history, three major coalitions did battle for the people's mandate. Barisan Nasional, or BN, which ruled Malaysia for 6 decades until 2018. Pakatan Harapan, or PH, which wrested Putrajaya from them. And Perikatan Nasional, formed in 2020 after Bersatu broke away from PH to join forces with PAS for a short-lived stint as government. None of the three secured a simple majority of 112 seats in the Dewan Rakyat to rule the country on its own. That saw PH, led by PKR and DAP, and BN with UMNO at the forefront, form a broad alliance with coalitions in Sabah and Sarawak to take over the reins of government with Anwar Ibrahim as Prime Minister. Political analyst James Chin explains why coalition politics has always been Malaysia's formula for government going back to Merdeka in 1957.
The reason why this is the only model available to Malaysia is because Malaysia's politics is driven, at least in the initial period, driven by race.
According to Chin, the three main races that make up the Rakyat were each dominated by one party. UMNO for the Malays, MCA for the Chinese, and MIC for the Indian community. These three parties then got together to form the coalition known as Alliance, which later became BN. BN expanded to include a host of political parties in Sabah and Sarawak. These days, however, each of the Borneo states has its own coalitions. Gabungan Parti Sarawak, or GPS, which presently leads the Sarawak state government, and Gabungan Rakyat Sabah, or GRS, which heads the administration in Sabah. Over time, however, Islam began to shape the political discourse in the country.
Now it's mostly driven by political Islam.
With race-based politics firmly entrenched in Malaysia's political landscape, no party has been able to grow beyond the boundaries of its racial configuration.
There is not a single party in Malaysia that is capable of collecting votes from every segment of the different racial groups.
On the contrary, the last 10 years or so have seen shifts which have affected the balance of the traditional coalitions. Unhappiness with UMNO and the rise of political Islam has seen the Malay vote, which UMNO once had a stranglehold of, breaking up.
Malay politics is basically divided into PAS, PKR, and UMNO.
There is also, of course, Bersatu. Likewise, the Indian vote is now divided between PKR, MIC, and DAP.
Chinese vote is essentially gone over to DAP.
That was why each of the three West Malaysian coalitions were left short of numbers and unable to form a government on its own. And that was what made longtime political foes UMNO and DAP partners in the present unity government.
Sedikit gugup sebab tak pernah berucap di pentas ini.
That was how Secretary General Lok Siu Fook began DAP's maiden speech at the Unity Government Convention. These are the new political realities that Malaysia's politicians and the Rakyat must learn to accept moving forward. The upcoming state elections in Selangor, Negeri Sembilan, and Penang will be a useful early test for the new PHBN alliance as it comes up against the Green Wave, led by PAS, that has gathered force in the north. That will set the stage for GE16, due in 2027. Danish Rajareza, FMT News.